Come in. Hello, Barbara. You're working late.
It's the analyses for the National Research Department. I wanted to finish them. They're ready for programming, but I thought you'd like to see them first.
Yes, thanks. I'll look them over first thing tomorrow.
Fine. Unless there's anything else you want.
No, I think we're in pretty good shape. 10 minutes or so, I'm through for today, too. Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Madison.
Do you know if my husband's in his office?
No, he's working on the Computex. Shall I tell him you're looking for him on my way out?
No, I want to stop into the computer room anyway.
I thought you'd left. Come to say goodnight to baby.
Was that supposed to mean something?
Well, all this, the Computex. You pamper it as if it were your child.
Well, if anything, it's our child. We developed it together, didn't we?
Oh, to Ralph and Inga Madison. A computer. Mother and child both doing well.
And father? How is he? Still sulking?
Sulking? Why should I sulk? I'm a very lucky man. Married to the computer genius of the century. It's an open secret that you were the real brains behind the Computex 0B. Anyway, that's what everybody thinks, isn't it?
No, they don't. You're the one that's always underselling yourself. What's happened to us, Ralph? We started out together. We were important to each other. Our marriage has gone sour on us. Why?
That's because I needed a wife, not a competitor.
I've never been in competition with you. We've always worked as a team.
But you run the show.
Oh, what's the use? You're in one of your particularly nasty moods. I just came to see whether you were in or out tonight.
Why, does it matter to you?
Not in the least. But if you're going back to the house for dinner, I'll have to call Mrs. Pelham and tell her.
You, I take it, are going out again.
Yes, it's business.
Isn't it always?
In or out, Ralph?
I'll be here until late. But since you're so concerned, you can be sure I'll get something to eat.
Well, don't do me any favors, darling. That would be out of character. Good night.
Good night. Enjoy your business.
I must say, I wouldn't care to play poker with this machine of yours, Sir Gerald. That tactical analysis you did for us was most impressive.
That was programmed by Dr. Madison and his wife. With their assistant, they're the only people allowed to work on the Computex 0B. As you know, they designed and developed it. It's in the basement.
Bright couple.
A little bit frightening.
What about security, Sir Gerald? With all the classified material you have here, you're fully covered, I hope.
Naturally. By day, we have our regular security staff, and at night, the Computex takes over.
You mean the computer is programmed to handle security?
Yes, and it's very efficient, believe me. Anyone wanting to get into the building after normal working hours has to have an individually coded identity key, like this. This tells the electronic security check unit who you are and the areas you're permitted to enter. With a green key, you have the run of the building, but with a black one, you're restricted.
Well, how does that part of it work?
It's quite simple. At night, the lifts, the elevators, will only operate if the key is put into this slot here. And then, unless it's a green key, no matter which button is pressed, the lift will only stop on the floor or floors that the key holder is allowed on.
But once in the building, surely anybody could use the stairs.
That's true, but to get into any sensitive area, again, you have to use your key. After you, General.
Well, what happens if somebody breaks into the building or into one of the computer rooms?
They get a nasty shock.
You mean that literally?
Quite literally. When the electronic security system is in operation, the computer generates an electrical current across all the outside doors, the windows, and the entrances to all the restricted areas. The voltage is controlled, but any intruder would be stunned long enough for the police to arrive.
And it's all in here. The works.
The works.
Recognition and arithmetic units, logical analysis, permanent and immediate memory.
The Computex 0B is just like a child. From the moment it was born, it's been taking in information and storing it up.
Every piece of data given to it has enormously increased the sum total of its knowledge. It's been learning to evaluate all this information. It can now make a reasoned assessment of any problem presented to it.
In other words, it thinks like you and I do.
In many ways better than you or I. Its memory is infallible and its judgment faultless,
Well, can it solve any problem?
provided it has all the facts and enough information.
The next step is to develop a personality for it. Then it will be able to hold beliefs, develop attitudes, and communicate with people. Mrs. Madison's already spent 2 years on the first stages of building an emotional pattern into it. I know it sounds impossible, but they've been doing some very good work on this in the universities.
I've had some success with this computer in breaking down the more basic human emotions such as love, fear, anger. There's still a long way to go, of course. You ready, Barbara?
Ready.
Now watch this. The Computex can scan and absorb the entire contents of a spool in a matter of seconds.
As you can see, the computer has accepted the program. Using the keyboard, we can now tell it exactly what we want to know, and it'll give us the answer.
Supposing you don't feed it sufficient information to come up with an answer, what happens then?
It does just what you or I would do, General. It asks for more. Why weren't you there?
Darling Inga, I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't play games, Ralph. I'm talking about General Wanamaker. You knew he was coming today.
Oh, that. Well, naturally, I thought you'd prefer to have him all on your own. After all, I'd have been only a pale shadow in your reflected brilliance, wouldn't I?
Now, I can do without any of your self-pitying sarcasm.
Oh, really angry. I can still rouse some kind of reaction from you, then.
Yes, I'm angry, and not just about that. Sir Gerald tells me you booked nighttime on the Computex for a whole week.
Well, that's right. Well, I needed the time. It's important.
Well, what are you working on? It's so urgent.
Oh, it's a rather special project. Don't worry, darling. You'll be the first to know about it once it's finished. You can count on that.
Well, you still could have asked me. Just as a matter of courtesy. It's very inconvenient. There's a program for Stuart Crosby I want to put through.
It'll have to wait, won't it?
Crosby's advertising agency is one of our best commercial clients. I don't like letting them down. And Stuart Crosby's a friend of mine.
Oh, is that what he is? A friend?
Thank you. Come on. Darling, cheer up. I don't think I've seen you smile the whole evening.
I'm sorry, Stuart. I had a bad day.
Ralph.
Isn't it always?
Nearly always. And when it isn't, it's usually some complicated computer project that I don't pretend to understand. I wish I did. And perhaps I could help.
You help.
Why don't you divorce, Ralph?
On what grounds? Dear, sweet, virtuous Ralph.
Well, then, tell him about us and ask him for a divorce.
No, I can't do that.
But why not? You love me, don't you?
course I do. You know I do.
Well, then why don't we bring it out in the open?
Well, first because he probably wouldn't agree to a divorce. You know how spiteful he can be.
And secondly?
Let's drop it, Stuart, please.
And secondly?
Secondly, because if there was a scandal, I might have to resign and give up doing any more work on the Computex. That's what you were fishing for, wasn't it?
Yes. I always knew that was the real reason.
I'm sorry, Stuart.
No, I shouldn't be sorry. I pressed too hard. It's just that no man likes to think that he's taking second place. What, to a machine?
Darling, you don't. But my work is very important to me. You've always known that. Let's get out of here. Darling, don't worry. Everything will work out for us. I know it will.
Yes, we have completed our report, Dr. Madison, up to and including the subject's movements last night, just as you requested.
Well, I hope you've done a thorough job.
We take great pride in the pains we go to with our inquiries, Dr. Madison. For instance, at precisely 7:33 p.m. yesterday, the subject left the matrimonial home.
The subject? You mean my wife?
Exactly. At precisely 7:33 p.m. yesterday, the subject left the matrimonial home and took a taxi to Stefano's restaurant, arriving at 7:55. There she met Mr. Stuart Crosby. During dinner, they appeared to have a minor disagreement. They left the restaurant together at 9:12 p.m. and went to Mr. Crosby's apartment. We remained on observation, and at 9:42, the lights in the sitting room were extinguished. Naturally, it will be up to the judge to draw his own conclusions from that.
The judge? Oh, yes. And that report contains the full details of all my wife's movements over the past month. A complete behavior pattern.
Oh, complete. Outside the matrimonial home and her office, of course. Unfortunately, the subject is a woman of very regular habits, although I must say, Dr. Madison, seldom do any of our clients require so meticulous a surveillance. Once infidelity has been established...
Yes, well,
usually...
I wanted to be absolutely sure, to have the full details. It was essential for me to have the best possible private detective. Now, you were highly recommended.
Thank you. We do try to be of a reliable service. Oh, by the way, we prefer inquiry agent rather than private detective. Less vulgar, don't you think?
Well, if you say so. I have the fee and expenses we agreed. It's in cash. Perhaps you better check it.
Oh, I'm sure that isn't necessary, Dr. Madison. Our report?
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I think I did tell you, didn't I, that for the court appearance there will be an additional fee?
Oh, court appearance.
The divorce.
Oh, well, frankly, Mr. Shea, I don't think I'll have to call on you for that.
Oh. Well, a reconciliation. A second chance. Yes, we do hope for that.
You keep referring to we, Mr. Shea. I understood you worked alone.
We do. My father. He started this business. He's been dead for many years now. It's a simple memorial. Good day, Dr. Madison.
Good day, Mr. Shea. lover.
You were out late last night.
Yes. I knew you were awake. I saw the light under your door. I was working on my program at the center. I wouldn't dream of being so indelicate as to ask how you spent your evening.
Did you finish it?
Matter of fact, I did.
Oh, then you won't mind if I work on the Computex tonight, will you?
Just a couple of things to tidy up, but after 8 o'clock, it's all yours.
If you're looking for your wife, Dr. Madison, she's not here, I'm afraid.
Yes, I know. There's a sub-routine I want to check.
Can I set it up for you?
No, it's all right, thanks. I can manage. Look, it's gone 1 o'clock. Why don't you go and have your lunch? I'll be here until you get back.
But if that's all right.
Perfectly. You know, Barbara, you're a very attractive woman.
Thank you, Dr. Madison. Please let me pass.
Some other time, perhaps.
Everything, Inspector.
Electrocution. Died instantly. Not surprised, that kind of voltage. Fried to a crisp.
Were you in charge of the investigation?
Yes. Nothing to it. Accidental death.
Sure?
We're sure. Your company worried about something?
No, not necessarily. It's a big claim. I'm just checking.
Can't see if they can get out of it. Open and shut.
It's strange, though, isn't it? They've got a security system down there that's been working for years without a hitch. And then suddenly one night a man walks through the doors and he goes up like a match.
Happens. Most sophisticated burglar alarms sometimes go off for no apparent reason.
Yeah, but not without some traceable fault in the system.
We checked. Best technical experts. Nothing. It's an accident, Frost. As far as the police are concerned, file's closed. Unless, of course, you come up with something.
Has been known.
True. We're always grateful.
You went through the dead man's pockets, of course.
Naturally. Routine.
Anything interesting?
Nothing much. Want to see them? Unofficially, of course. Mrs. Madison hasn't claimed them yet.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Bring me the things off the Madison body. Want one?
No, thanks. Well, tell me about Dr. and Mrs. Madison.
Oh, nothing much to tell. He was one of the really top boys, computer business. She's even more brilliant than he was. Your aunt taking an interest. You know something we don't?
No, I'm just paid to be curious, that's all.
You and me both. So where do you go from here?
Oh, the top, Inspector. I always start at the top. Good morning. Sir Gerald Walters?
Yes? What can I do for you?
Frost, Sir Gerald. Adam Frost, National Mutual Insurance Company. I telephoned your wife. She said I could find you here.
Yes, I like to get out on the track whenever I can. Jogging, you know, keeps you fit. How can I help you?
Oh, it's about the death of Dr. Ralph Madison. Your center had a policy with my company on his life.
Indeed, yes. With a man of such brilliance, we have to be protected.
Oh, yes, naturally. But Dr. Madison and his wife also had life policies with us, each for a substantial sum.
Yes, I know, through our group scheme with National Mutual. Is there something wrong with the policies, Mr. Frost?
No, not as far as I know, but that's not my department. I'm a claims investigator.
A detective?
Yes, I suppose so.
But the police have already investigated Dr. Madison's death. It was an accident.
Yes, Sir Gerald, I've read the report, but when big claims are involved, we like to pick some inquiries of our own. It's just routine.
I see. I'm afraid I can't add anything to what I've already told the police.
Well, perhaps we could go over some of the facts. Your entire night security system is linked to this wonder computer of yours. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, that's some watchdog, but something went wrong, didn't it?
Obviously.
Well, because someone had pulled the wrong switch, made a mistake.
No, that's impossible. The system is linked to a master program. There's no human element involved.
Could something have gone wrong inside? You know, blown fuse, short circuit?
Not possibly. The whole system was thoroughly checked. There wasn't a fault anywhere.
Look, Sir Gerald, a man is killed, apparently accidentally. And everything points to the fact that that was impossible, but something doesn't fit.
What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything, but I would like to look around the center and talk to a few people if you've no objections.
None. I take it your company will hold up payment on the policies.
Well, as I say, it is routine.
Yes. Well, you'd better talk to Mrs. Madison. She knows more about the Computex than I do. You'll find her at the center.
Really? So soon after the tragedy?
Inga Madison is not the kind of woman to sit at home weeping. She's a dedicated scientist, Mr. Frost. She feels her loss, of course. And sometimes it's better to lose oneself in one's work. But you're really wasting your time if you're looking for technical faults. That security system has been in operation now for 5 years. It's never given us the slightest trouble.
It has now. It's killed a man.
No, Mr. Frost. All the control levels from the computer, every circuit, every wire, they've all been checked. There was no fault.
Your husband was electrocuted. Something must have gone wrong.
I can only repeat, there was no technical failure.
And what about this master program, the one that controls the whole computer? Could that have got out of line somehow?
You obviously don't know much about computers.
Oh, they scare me, if that helps.
Mr. Frost, my husband died as a result of an accident. The dictionary defines the word accident as an event without apparent cause. The police are satisfied, why does your company insist on pursuing the matter?
Well, £50,000 is a lot of money, Mrs. Madison. It's over $100,000.
Well, you can investigate all you want to, but you won't find a way to get out of paying it. Now, if you'll excuse me, if you have any more questions about the computer, the security system, ask Miss Rossiter.
I don't think she likes me.
Does that worry you?
Everybody wants to be loved.
I saw you at the cemetery. You smiled.
A reflex action. I'm a man, you're an attractive woman. It's chemistry. Anyway, I was observing, not mourning.
Who's mourning? As far as I was concerned, he was all hands and ambitions. She loathed him.
Where should we go for lunch?
There's not a
Oh, I'm sorry.
bad.
Oh, thank you. Shall we go down to that place with... Do you like working with computers?
I enjoy my work, but I'm not obsessed by it.
Is Mrs. Madison?
Oh, I think so. So was he. He was clever, but she's brilliant. He knew it and resented it.
Do they have fights?
Often, I should think. I've told you she loathed him.
Big fights?
Who knows what went on at home? There were a couple of nasty scenes at the center.
What about?
I don't think she really likes him working on the Computex. She's got a thing about that computer. For 2 years, she's been feeding emotions into it. Love, anger, all reduced to mathematical symbols.
Well, that's a cozy thought. What's your opinion of her?
She's all right. I've learned a lot from her.
Cold, would you say?
I think I shall have the fried chicken. Cold? That's a question you'd have to ask a man.
What's the matter? We are getting married.
Of course we are, but... Well, I just don't want to rush things. It wouldn't look right. You know how people are.
How long?
A month. 2 at the most.
I can wait. I'll see you tonight?
Mm-hmm.
That's better. I like it like that.
Don't you think that was a little forward of you, Mr. Frost?
Well, my name's Adam. You're Barbara.
But not Eve. Hold on to that thought.
Could anything have gone wrong with the master program?
Mrs. Madison and I checked it just in case.
And?
Nothing. It's functioning normally. Perfect pattern.
If they wanted to, could someone break that pattern and override the master with fresh instructions?
Yes, it would be possible with the sub-program.
And if they had done that, would it show up on the master?
No, not if an array's instruction were built into the sub-program. But the change would stay stored up in the computer's memory.
Did you kill Ralph Madison?
You must be joking. You are, aren't you? Why should anyone want to kill him? For what reason?
Hate, envy, I can think of 50,000 reasons. I'd like to have a look round Ralph Madison's office. Can you fix that for me? You say he made passes at you?
Like he was trying to prove something.
Such as?
I don't know. What's any man trying to prove when he makes a pass?
Oh, come on. And even if you didn't know, this is not the time to explain. Do you run around with anyone on a regular basis?
The other woman bit? No, I shouldn't think so.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you think of any reason why Madison would want a private detective?
Private detective? Oh, why? Frederick Shea Squire, inquiry agent.
He's one of the best.
You know him?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Seen all you want?
I think so, thanks. Do you know what this is?
Yes, it's a spool of computer tape. Where did you get it?
It was on Madison's body when he was killed.
Well, it shouldn't have been. Now I'm supposed to take any spool out of the computer room.
That's what I thought.
There isn't a number, but there's a program on it. That's odd.
How odd?
Very. There's a system. All programs have a number and are coded and registered in the central registry. Officially, this program doesn't exist.
Could you find out what's on it without letting anyone else know?
I suppose so. I could run it through the scanner when I'm alone in the computer room.
Well, thanks. I'll be grateful. If there is anything important, you can get me at this number. I could have come to your office.
When we're not working, we like to take a walk in the park. Have you a fondness for birds, Mr. Frost?
Yeah, I'm mad about them.
Fascinating creatures, and with few of the frailties of human beings. You're working on the sudden demise of Dr. Ralph Madison, hmm?
Yes, that's right.
Do you know that with some species of birds, once they mate, they stay faithful to each other for the rest of their lives? We often think that with such fidelity amongst our fellow beings, no one would need our services.
Yeah.
Shall we, take a stroll?
Why did Dr. Madison need your services?
A domestic matter.
Is his wife having an affair?
We have a copy of our report. Like to see it?
Yes, I'd like to see it.
Should this information be of some assistance, Mr. Frost, should it result in a monetary saving to the National Insurance Company, we can rely on a small commission, we trust.
We can, Mr. Shea. We certainly can. Hello, what's so important you couldn't tell me on the phone? You're going to put your hair up?
No, don't joke. This is important. It's about that program you gave to me.
Yeah, what about it?
I've just run it through the scanner. It's incredible, Adam.
Why? What's on it?
Murder. Madison was planning to murder his wife by electrocution. Everything's there, just the way it happened. Cancelling out our identity card, instructing only the outer doors to open and the build-up of current. Only it was Ralph Madison who got killed.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
You thought she'd killed him, didn't you?
Did I? This plan, could it have worked?
Well, it did, didn't it?
Yes, but on the wrong person. Could the computer have misread the identity card?
Impossible. He'd have checked it back.
Then what went wrong?
It can only have been an accident.
But no one's found a single technical fault. But just suppose, for a moment, that Inga Madison had found out what her husband was planning. Could she secretly have changed the program so that he got electrocuted instead?
I thought you'd ask that, so I checked the program thoroughly. There's no trace of casual interference.
Well, I don't believe that Ralph Madison's death was an accident, and it certainly wasn't suicide. Do you know that Inga Madison has been having an affair for months with a man called Stuart Crosby? And there's the insurance money. No, I think there is a second tape somewhere. Program murder, subject husband.
Sorry, did I startle you?
A little. I wondered if you wanted me for anything more tonight.
No, there's nothing. Thanks. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Good night, Miss Madison.
It's coming through loud and clear. Where did you put it?
Under a pile of papers on her desk. It's a pretty dirty trick, Adam.
So is killing your husband. That's got to be discouraged, too.
Oh, no.
She's found it.
I've got to see you. No, now, here at the center. Have you got your identity card? You know how to use it? All right, all right. I was only asking. You haven't been here before after regular working hours. Yes, yes, it's important and very nasty. 10 minutes then. Bye.
What do we do now?
We wait.
I like that.
So did I. Let's try it again, shall we? Oh, Eve. What a pity we've only got 10 minutes.
Dirty-minded.
Just charming, isn't it? I'm a murderess and you're my accessory.
Well, it's some crank, obviously.
Crank, it's a piece of filth.
Where did you find it?
It was on my desk.
It must have been written by somebody in the building, then.
Obviously.
Who'd do a thing like that?
Someone with a particularly twisted mind. Is it really possible that someone thinks that I murdered Ralph?
It certainly looks like it. What do you want to do about it?
Do about it? I'm going to take it to the police.
Yes, you must, of course.
If they find out who wrote it, I'm going to bring charges.
You won't have to do that. That's criminal libel. I suppose it must have been written by somebody in the center.
I don't see how else it could have gotten here.
Well, we shall just have to give it to the police. You can run a check of all the typewriters in the building. It's a long shot, but it might come up with something.
Well, I don't care who handles it, but a vicious lie like this has got to be stopped. I'm afraid I sounded a little hysterical on the phone. I'm sorry. But, well, you hear about this sort of thing, but you never think it'll happen to you.
You were quite right to ring me. I'm glad you did.
Come on, don't worry.
We'll sort all this out. Shall we go and have dinner at Stefano's? That'll do you good.
You know, you're a pretty wonderful Stuart Crosby, and I love you. You go on ahead and get a good table. There's just a couple of things I want to finish up here first.
Feeling proud? That wasn't exactly the reaction you expected, was it? Admit it. You were wrong.
All right, I was wrong. But someone murdered Ralph Madison.
Nasty business. Never seen anything like it. 6 safety devices, and they've all cut out. Not one of them worked.
Could they have been interfered with?
Oh, not a chance. They're all built into the system. I'll be writing a report.
Where's Mrs. Madison?
In the computer room.
How's she taking it?
What do you think?
Do you think I can talk to her?
You can try. I'm going to telephone Sir Gerald and ask the police to keep a man on the main entrance until we can reactivate the security system.
Mrs. Madison. Mrs. Madison.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Barbara told me he was. I guess I just didn't want to believe it.
Mrs. Madison, I'm sorry this isn't the moment, but there's something I must know.
What is it?
Well, the Computex controls the elevators. Is it possible that this could have happened because there's something wrong with the electronic controls or with the computer itself?
Mr. Frost, what are you doing here?
Well, I can explain a bit later. Could it have happened that way?
I thought I made it clear to you that the Computex can't make mistakes.
So this is just another event without apparent cause, a second accident.
What else could it be?
Murder, Mrs. Madison. Murder by computer.
Do you know what you're saying?
Yes, I know.
Yes, you really think that's what happened, don't you? There's no point in our talking anymore.
Mrs. Madison, I've already seen a program of your husband's in which he was planning to murder you. He had it planned so that when you came into the building after hours, you'd be electrocuted. Only someone changed the program and he was killed instead. They got rid of Stuart Crosby in much the same way. And that someone must work in this building.
Where is this program?
I've got it.
Is it true, what he says?
About the program, yes. Why don't you leave her alone, Adam?
No, I want to see it. Put it through for me.
You see, Mrs. Madison, I was right.
It's a brilliant piece of work. Poor Ralph, he's so underrated himself. But why would he want to kill me?
Insurance money? It was a joint policy. Jealousy? He knew about you and Stuart Crosby. Or maybe he was just returning your hate.
I didn't hate my husband, Mr. Frost. I respected him as a scientist. I didn't like him as a man, but I didn't hate him.
Someone did.
And you think that someone found out about this program and changed it so that he was killed instead?
Yes, with a sub-program.
You thought I did it?
Yes, for a while I did, but not now. You may have killed your husband for the insurance money, but not Stuart Crosby. You loved him. You had nothing to gain. And the murderer of Stuart Crosby and Ralph Madison were one and the same person.
Well, there's only one way to find out if you're right.
How?
Ask the Computex.
Can you do that?
The computer remembers everything that's put into it. It's just a question of unlocking that memory. I didn't think I'd know how to begin to do that, but Mrs. Madison would.
Will you try?
There was a sub-program.
I apologize, Mr. Frost. You were right. The computer was used to kill.
Ask it to identify the programmer.
But that's impossible.
Why?
There can't be a program with an unspecified programmer prefix.
The computer can't be put into operation without one.
Try again. It can't be.
Well, what's happening? What does it mean?
It means the impossible has happened. The computer has programmed itself. Computex killed Ralph Madison and Stuart Crosby. Mrs. Madison, you have to ask. We must know.
Love. You taught me to love. I love you.
What have I done?
Love you. You belong. Belong to me. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.